Hmm. Hey, Sicky. It's been a while since I've seen you on here. Paul, Promo, Retro, Andrew, Tux. Another Gen Xer. Ugh. How dare you compartmentalize me like that? I'm offended. You're taking lessons from Gen Zers and Ys. Oh dear, I'm looking for some batteries. Battery. Searching for you. No batteries. Okay, pull that one, pull that one. Sorry, I just realised I need to test to see if this little handheld scope is any good anymore before I do something like try and give it away to someone. Give it away, give it away, give it away now. I think one of the more frustrating aspects... Oh, crikey. One of the more frustrating aspects of this particular portable meter is that it requires 5 batteries. Very frustrating. And yeah, when you use these rechargeable ones, they have a tendency to pop out slightly. Oh yeah, it actually does work. Contrast is terrible. I've forgotten how to... No. Auto. Display setup. I don't know if the buttons are working anymore. Well, I'm going to jab it into the back of itself because it has a 1 kilohertz test signal on the back. I can just... or something like that. It seems a little out of whack. Low battery. Alright. I don't know if this works anymore properly or not. Reset, auto... Not sure. I'll have to test it a bit more before I give it away. Or maybe someone is just willing to take it as is. It was a very expensive item at the time when I bought it. But yeah, there's a power jack, but I don't have... where is it? It's up the top here. It's 9 volts, and I don't have a 9 volt. Well, I suppose I could rig up something, but no. But to do other things. But yeah, this was a few $100s at the day. And the day being like well over a decade ago now. Alright. Okay, let's see. Right, yeah, so we've got this Gigabyte 1080, and I've already done resistance tests on all the inductors in the various places, and it seems to be okay. Hey, Osis. And I am just basically going to go by the guide that has been set up by A.S.Repairs, who's on the Rossmann Discord. Now, I'm trying to find where I put his page. Hey, GD Tech. Nah, that doesn't look like it. Damn it, I had it last night. Oh, I found it. NVIDIA Pascal Okay, so if we go to schematics. So yeah, I'm going to be using this one, and unfortunately this particular card is a custom card, supposedly. So we're not going to exactly have what we need, but we're going to check around and see if we can at least have some sort of testing, see if we've got 12.3 and stuff like that. So hopefully I won't completely botch it up. But this is done by someone who goes by the name of A.S.Repairs on Discord. Yeah, I could test it on the bench supply. Now, one thing they told me, in a bit of a funny story of this, last night, about 24 hours ago, I actually threw this out into the trash because I thought, you know what? I have had this riser card for goodness knows how long now, and I used it very temporarily. I think I had a GTX 1060 card or something. It was either a 60 or a 50 series, I can't remember. But needs to say that mining with that card was useless, particularly with Australian cost of electricity. So I stopped doing that. I sold the card off for a bigger profit than I was ever going to make out of the mining, and it just went into the box of random things that I bought in the past for reasons that probably weren't valid. And yeah, so I threw that out last night, and then I started working on this, and that's when A.S.Repairs says, oh, well, if you've got a riser card, you can make it much easier for yourself. And I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding. So particularly after I threw out all of my composite cables as well for video composite, and then I find out yesterday that I needed one for another job that I'm doing. It was just like, wow, the universe is really out to punish me for throwing things out. Anyway, so apparently using these riser cards allows you to get the voltage into here and test things. So that's what I'm going to be doing. And hopefully I will not butcher this too much. Hopefully. Yeah, it's just I need to change the house to being solar powered. The trouble I've got is that I'm unsure of the state of the roof. And of course, if they find electrical issues in the roof, then you've got to go and deal with all those before they will proceed. And so yeah, it's a bit of a mess. Yeah, and I've thrown out a few hundred kilos worth of stuff now. Just stuff from the early 2000s or even mid 2000s. I've got so many laptops that just need to be tossed out. And right, so I need to apply power to this, and for that I'm simply just going to use one of these. And a lot of people are going to squeal and say, oh my god, it's a thermal take. It's one of those stupid, horrible ones. Get rid of it. It's like, it's going to do the job. And it's going to do it just fine. Yes, it's always the way. You toss something out, and it's... Basically, that's... I guess if you... Oh, I just noticed this one has a 8-wire... Neat. This one's got an 8-wire PCI. Not that it makes any difference apparently, because yeah, they're just 2 ground wires, so superficial reasons for having that. Hey Joshua Anderson and Blazing Magazine, I see you there. So have I only got that one PCIe? Yes, I do. Okay, so I've only got the one PCIe thingamajig. Yeah, this I might have to actually put that on this side. Wind power, not up here. We don't actually get a lot of wind up here, unless you're referring to the locals on the community chat group. By God, there's no shortage of windage coming out of those people. Did anyone see that so-and-so did this and that down the street today? I can't believe it. And you call yourselves a local? That's not local. You haven't been here 80 years. And you're not buried in the cemetery. You can't be called a local. Yep, that's pretty much how it goes. It's pretty damn comical, actually, just watching them slowly tear pieces out of each other. And then you get the buffheads coming in. So, we do it tough around here. We go out in the 50-degree sun and we don't care. And we just work. And meanwhile, they're actually sitting at home in the air conditioning, complaining about the lack of cold beer on a Sunday. Yeah, lots of fun stuff. You do not want to see how many laptops. Luke, I probably threw out, I would say about 60 or 70 last year, and I have another dozen left, and I think that's enough. Far North Queensland is, yeah, it's a special place. There's some marvellous people up here, but you've also got a good supply of questionable, yeah, well, I shouldn't say questionable, but, you know, people who do have their unique traits, as it were. And I shouldn't mock that, really. I'm sorry, I shouldn't mock that. Please don't hate me. And that's got to go in for... I'm not even going to bother. It's only a ground. Hey, Warren Stamps. Alright, biggest gripe I got here is that this riser card, you know, it's got about a 10mm lip there, so I don't want to be trying to measure this at an angle. So I need a piece of something. Nick, basically it will spin up, it will give, you know, it'll do all its RGB wing wham wibble stuff, but that's it. That's all it will do. Spin the fans, bring up the RGB, and we're going to whack it over the head of this wood. And that should magically fix it. My mouse just dropped into there. See if this works. Okay, that's not too bad. It's a bit frustrating though, having to do that. And I think I accidentally killed my chat window. Oh no, there you are. Okay. Nice church lady. Oh, they don't do church much around. Fortunately, that is one nice thing. Religion is not really a topic of discussion in this town or a topic of debate. No one gives two hoots about it. So I'm right at home there, thankfully. No. Instead, it's about how tough you are, how big your dog is, what size engine you've got in your Toyota Land Cruiser. And only the knobheads run around with the Nissan Patrols. And nobody uses a, what's the other brand? I can't even think of it because nobody has them. Mitsubishi, yeah. The thing is, the Mitsubishi ones are actually pretty good. But anyway, I digress. We also need to be able to power this on, so I actually need to go get my little tester, because the tester will invoke the power supply to turn on. Now I have two testers, and naturally neither is right here, so I do know where one is, so I'll go get that one. How many beers? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Micro. What you doing, Micro? Okay,
What you doing? Oh, really? What? You've already had your injection for tonight.
Okey-dokey-doke. Alright, this is not my normal one. This one was actually someone sent me this one after, well, they didn't realise I already had one. They misinterpreted something I said, and so they sent me this, and I was like, well, I've actually already got one, but no matter. Looks like it turns out to be useful after all. Okay, so plug that in. That should be all we really need, and it should fire it up. Fire in the hole. Okay, now to find an IEC cable. Crikey. Come on, come on. Yeah, good on ya. Come on. Little snag fest down there. Okay, Warren, thanks for dropping in. Sorry, you can't stick around though. Gonna be an interesting one tonight. I probably should have. Yeah, we'll turn it off first. Put the ON-OFF switch to the OFF position. Oh, by the way, I did the heatsink modification onto the oven controller, and it's all working fine. I finally got the heatsinks I ordered along with the mica, the silicons, insulators and things like that. Though I was a bit of a dumbhead for a little bit there, because couldn't work out why the heatsink. I was like, this is a stupid heatsink design. Yeah, I'm so proud of how stupid I was that I'm actually going to just embarrass myself now and demonstrate to you how dumb I can be, just as proof of I don't know, proof of stupidity. But then again, people who've been watching this channel for long enough will know that I'm very good at doing that anyway. I don't need to give too much proof. Sudi, the trouble is, I don't know if it's not going to self-start. That's the trouble. Like, once it starts, sure, yeah, it could stay on, but it's not going to stay started. Oh, sorry, I mean, it's not going to invoke it to start. Yeah, Luke, it can be like that. Yeah, some stuff can have a sentimental aspect to it. Okay, so there's your kit. Interestingly enough, I forgot to buy the suitable screws for it, but fortunately I had one spare. Alright, so I'm sitting there like I've got, okay, yeah, I've got my TO220, and yeah, I'm sort of thinking, yeah, maybe I won't get too close to the wood, so I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll just do that. And I'm thinking, no, Paul, you can't do that because you'll have this exposed plate down the bottom, and it's, you know, you need to keep that warm. So I'm like, fine. By the way, I was using the insulator at this point. I was jamming the insulator in here, and I'm going, damn, you know, that's not a good fit. It's just a little bit too wide, and I was about to start trimming it, and I'm going, yeah, this is a really stupid design for a heat sink. It doesn't really, it doesn't really give me a lot of extra area and stuff like that. And of course, well, at this point, I was sitting there and I'm thinking, well, you know what, I can fold the fins out and I'll get a little bit more, you know, air going across it. And stupid me failed to realize until later that you're supposed to mount them with the fins like this. So that sort of construction, okay? And that is how I've done it. But it's just ridiculous how sometimes your brain just gives up on you, let you go about and stumble around like a complete idiot for a while. So yeah, I was sitting there trying to work out how I was going to make it fit like this and cursing that I should have got a bigger heatsink. Stupid stuff. David Boyd, thank you for playing into that and making me feel, yeah. David played the perfect card there. Well done. Anyway, needless to say, it is mounted correctly now. It was just one of those, wow, brain, you didn't get up on Monday morning, did you? Yeah. And it's stupid because, okay, I don't do that sort of thing very often in terms of, I don't do that sort of construction. Most of the time, previously when I've been dealing with heat sinks for trying to keep things under control, I'll be using board mount heat sinks or things like that, like these sort of things. These basically just bond onto a copper plate that you expose on your board and you just stick them on. Or these solderable ones. These are actually really nice. You put these around D2 packs. You just solder them onto the board like that. It's a fantastic way of getting rid of heat around a D2 pack, or you can do it for a D pack as well. But I really love those heat sinks. They're excellent. The nice thing is, you don't have to try and bond them or anything. You just solder them on. They're great. Anyway, enough about my failings. Though I have to say, was it JCT? Here we go. I got my ferrules, and I have in fact put the ferrules on the wires. So yeah. Paul, I have been informed that for this particular process, I don't need the 8th pair because it's just going to be a ground, and there's not a huge amount of current going through this while we're doing this particular test. Okay, now speaking of which, after much divergence there, I will now get on with this. Yeah, it's just, I've got, you sound like me where you just collect all these nice heat sinks, or you see them on special somewhere and you're like, I'll grab a dozen of those while they're on cheap price because I'm going to need them one day for something. And all they do is just chew up space in your workshop. Let's see. That's going to be annoying. 12 volt rails, a little low for its liking, that's what it's complaining about. Can I use this? Okay, you are annoying. Oh, it actually shuts down. Huh. Yeah, Paul, for this, like I said, just for this testing scenario where we get to see what the voltages are, we can get away with that. I mean, it is basically, yeah, another ground pair. It just obviously makes it a little bit lower in resistance. So I'm just going to see what Didamras has suggested. God damn, they're TiVo View. I have got to get my TiVo View decoder running. I will download those, but yeah, unfortunately it's TiVo View, so maybe after I've done the basic testing, if it shows some viability, I will get to work on my TiVo View. Plug in the EPS connector, that's the one. Thank you for letting me know. Appreciate that. I knew I'd forget something. Right. Thank you for that. Something simple after all. I much appreciate it. Oh, wait, not talking about ground. You need the second 12 volt. Oh, Peter, are you talking about that? I presume. Okay, so basically I want to do a voltage check on these rails. Now I'm looking at the guide. The guide isn't really actually that much use. Well, it is, but I mean, it's not going to give me the direct positions or anything like that because it's not a standard one. Okay. Good job, Paul. 0.8. Okay. We basically should get 0.8. The guide says 0.7, but I think we can live with 0.8. I guess it's just throttling it differently. And thank goodness for these GPUs self-managing and not being... Okay, that's interesting. We don't have voltage there. Oh yeah, we do. It's called Paul not pushing his probe in hard enough. Okay, that's fine. So they're all 0.8. Let's see, what else we're looking for. Apparently there's a fuse down here. 12.79, okay. What are you? 1 volt? We have someone claiming 1 volt? No. Okay, potentially 5 volts up here somewhere. This is the trouble when you don't have... Okay, what about these ones? 1.38, so that would be the 1.4 volt rail that they're talking about. 1.3, so duplicated there. That'll be the 12 volt. Okay, we should have a 1.8 around here. And there's 1.8. So we seem to have all the prerequisite rails thus far. Another 12. See if we can try not short circuit something here, because that's actually really fickle. And we've got a 5 volt rail as well. Pilnov, I've been advised that I can do this, and I'm feeling no heat building up from there. So I've been advised from what's his name, A.S.Repairs, that this is fine. There's no excessive heat going on here. And the guy seems to repair a hell of a lot of boards, so I'm going to take his word on it. Hey Prolux. So yeah, we've got all the rails. Let's see, I'm just going through the guide here. There, we've got that. Assuming yeah. Right, so I've either got faulty memory, BIOS, or GPU. You reach this point, your most likely culprit is memory. You can confirm this by powering on the card on the motherboard and plugging it into the monitor. After a minute or so, the monitor backlight should turn on, but without this behavior means the card is initialized but detects memory failure. Okay. If memory is okay, or the card is not even detected in the map, then the problem is likely the BIOS. Jeez. DeAndre basically just, it powers up but doesn't actually give you anything. NVIDIA memory testing guide. Pardon me. Ooh, can I do this in Linux? I must be able to do this in Linux. It's command line, so it must be. Need a sit view, blah blah blah. After booting into mods. Great. How do I get a hold of mods? I did try and boot with I did try that, and nothing came up on the external, on the internal either. So I'll just turn this off now. Since it's done its deed for us, gave us a chance to check the rails. We do have the rails, so that's eliminated. DeAndre, Tech Cemetery, isn't that's the dude that's having an absolute flip out at the moment? I think I'll pass. I'll find it. There's GPU testing. Okay, but cool. I guess I'll find that too. Yeah, that taximetry seems to trigger a thing in me at the moment. Okay, so I guess we'll put this thing back together. Okay, Ron Rogers, thanks for dropping in anyway, I appreciate that. Thanks for the show of support as I proceed to most likely not succeed in repairing this. I can feel there's a fair bit of heat in the whole VREG section, so yeah, they seem to be going. Now, as far as I understand, this is an eBay purchase, so I'm going to guess that it probably already was diagnosed and then someone pretended they didn't know what was wrong with it when they put it up on eBay. It's the classic sort of thing. It's like people with MacBooks. It's like, I don't know anything about MacBooks, I just got this, and they make it sound like it's a some sort of signature fault that you can easily fix, but in reality they damn well know that is not the case. And they're just, yeah, they're just playing dumb. They're being deciduous. Or is that disingenuous? Oh geez, I can never remember. Either way, they're playing dumb intentionally in order to get you to take the bait. DeAndre96, I think it's just someone in the chat will know. Something blew up. Something really blew up. Maybe not really blew up, but something blew up. Oh, wow. Did you see that? Oh, you didn't see it. Shite. Damn it. I dropped that screw and it just sort of went like a hole in one. Hey, Scoop Dog, I really don't know. That, to me, my impression would be memory on that one. That's just evil. How you can test this by telling us... Oh, SpaceX is launching. Good on ya. Now I'm wanting to watch that. To be fair, I generally do watch my SpaceX launches afterwards, so I can be naughty and skip to see if they get the landing right. Because they're always going to get a landing. The question is whether they're going to get the landing right. Yeah, Nick, that's pretty much how it is, yeah. Hey, Wes. Wes, who changed his name. Why'd you change your alias there, Wes? Any reason, or just felt like it? Bonjour, Michael. Ça va? Okay. I gotta say, when I was trying to disassemble this originally, because I haven't actually done one of these particular ones before, I was attempting to actually disassemble it from above and, you know, trying to separate the fan assembly from the heatsink. I did manage to do it, but by God it was hard. And then I realized it was actually just the contact, the joint effect of the thermal pads that was holding the whole heatsink assembly on. You know, because after I took these bolts out, screws out, then I just had to go. But of course, I went about it the hard way, naturally. Does it tell you how to take it back to its original settings before any updates? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Steve. G'day, Animator. Hey, Graham. Hey, you can watch me make a complete moron of myself. I'm just going to go see if I can find... I've got another computer in the other room, and I'm going to see if I can use it for this, or whether it's going to be completely useless. Okay. Unfortunately, it's a low-profile computer. But that's not stopped me in the past. And for those of you who don't know, although I'm sure you do know, Adam IT is quite a popular UK-based tech repair person who often has streams and quite entertaining. Especially when it should be me who's asleep, but he's just decides to start his stream, and I'm like, oh, this is great, I'm going to be doomed now. Okay, just widen out there a little. By the way, Graham, those LED panels that you have, are they a particular brand or anything like that, or are they just generic ones? The ones that you're using to illuminate everything on your stream. Right. Well, I do say this probably is not the best idea, but I just noticed it's got a graphics card in it, so that's cool. I can steal that. Oh, Steve K, right, I see what you're saying. Yeah, so I really do, because I used to have a test bench, but I long since sort of stopped. What is this? NV710D, so what is that? GTX 7 compared to... I was going to use myself for that, the gaming machine. I was going to use this, which is a 1030. They look not too dissimilar in all honesty. Oh, okay, it's a little shorter. Anyway, we're getting off the point. But yeah, this 1030 I'm going to use for the gaming machine. I might have to use that, because this looks a little bit too... I can use the main board. I don't know what CPU it is. I suppose we can plug it in and find out. Yeah, why not? Divert a little bit. It makes life fun and interesting. Saturday afternoon? I don't think so. It was pretty damn close to Sunday. Yeah. Anyway, oh no, it was Saturday night for me, or Sunday morning. I didn't get much of a sleep, that's for sure. I think I slept about 2 hours, got up, and then cursed your name. So, hopefully you felt that curse. Okay. Yeah, we're kind of diverging here because I'm kind of curious as to what I've got here. I think this is an i7 of some old type. Okay. I'll use my handy little screen. New photography lights from Amazon. Give you a poke on Discord. Cool. Okay, yeah, if you can do that, that'd be good. Because overall, I'm fairly happy with how things are now with my setup, but the overhead lighting here, even though I've got two 30-watt panels and then I've got another 30 or 40 watts all on the ceiling, but I just feel like I need more light. Okay, screen. And need some sort of USB stick to boot. Is this just going? Oh well, actually no, I don't really, because I can just power it up and it'll go into BIOS. No, it still boots. I didn't buy this video card as untested, someone else did. And by the way, we are using the new wireless display technology here. The latest, greatest thing. Even I didn't know about it until I turned this on and realized I haven't got a screen plug. What the hell? What the hell? Oh... you're not... No, you're a display port. Son of a gun. Who puts a display port on... This really must be a fancy mainboard. Okay, display port to HDMI I do have somewhere. Or... Alright, do a mini display port. Don't worry folks, I've got plenty of video adaptation cables here. And I'm sure we'll find something that will do the deed. Okay, yeah, no, that's no good. Let's DisplayPort to DVI, and I don't have DVI. Just HDMI to HDMI. This should work. DVI to HDMI. This has actually got 2 DVI ports on it. That's quite interesting. 2 DVI ports, 2 red USB connectors, 2 black, 2 blue. It's even got FireWire. Holy crap, what is this board? FireWire on a board. That's amazing. Okay, we have to restart it though. Well, I dare say this is an old board, and it looks like it's well, I could be wrong, but it kind of looks like a Intel board. I need a keyboard and mouse. Oh, I got no signal on that one. It's probably because I was... yeah, that's why. Okay. RAM in the wrong slot? No, that shouldn't be it, I don't think. These things will boot with 1 stick per slot. But I know what's going on here. The freaking CPU fan has been knocked off. Which means the CPU probably isn't even in there. Okay, money is on the CPU not being in there. I'm guessing, yeah, look at that. I'm guessing the CPU's taken a walk. Somebody's taking the CPU. Yeah. Oh, by the way, Graham, how's the Queen? Oh no, CPU's there, but that was all rattling free. And it is an Intel board, Intel desktop board. Oh, that's kind of crazy, but that was definitely not sitting down properly. Let's see. Choices between thermal transfer paste. We have leaded solder paste, or we have ceramic 2. I think I'll go ceramic 2. Don't think this will get hot enough to use leaded solder paste properly. And no, this is not been done properly. This is just so I can actually boot it. We're gonna have a refest here at this rate. Well, it's got me stumped to why it was... yeah, I'm not the greatest fan of this kind of mount either. Mostly because you're never quite sure if you've done the lockdown properly. Yeah, it's like, did I do it COVID style or did I do it a non-style? Next mystery. Yeah, Adam, it's going to be a bit of a thing if she does I don't even know who you guys are going to replace her with, to be honest. I mean, I know there's Charles, but honestly, if I had to put money in it, I'd say that losing Elizabeth is pretty much going to be the death knell of the royal family. But you think I should have gone for the leaded paste? I think so too. Okay, no signal. Actually, I don't even get a beep. No beep. Why is this? Why do you not give me a beep? Oh, you know what we can do? We can see if it's alive. We can plug a chipmunk in it and see if the chipmunk talks. And the chipmunk's blinking green, so it is talking. Or at least it was. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. CPU cooked? Yeah. Nah, the Intel ones can run without. Okay, this is turned from a GPU solve to a fix the cranky old machine solve. Okay, let's get this front panel off, they suck. And let's get that hard drive out, that sucks. What were you? 500 gigabyte. Throw that straight in the trash. That's another thing. I've got about 400 kilos of hard drives. I don't know what to do with them. It's like I've got all these hard drives in boxes, and I was going to send them to a chap who does data recovery, just so he could use them as spare parts, but he sort of vanished. So now I've got all these hard drives and nowhere to take them. Okay, we're going to take the CMOS battery out. I'm going to guess that's probably close to flat. Let's check our voltage. Now, was that... 3 volts, it's not exactly dead flat. Denamras, yes, we do take tangents. It kind of makes it interesting, doesn't it? Can't say I'm a fan of that design of battery. I think this main board might be nice if it, we can use it as the... Oh, shite. It's even got an original PCI slot in it. I'm guessing this is a business... okay, and it's got a built-on buzzer. Yeah, I'm guessing this is actually a business grade board. eBay them. What, you mean the hard drives? Oh, hell no. Onboard video may be disabled. That is possible, yeah. Well, we've reset it now, haven't we? No, like I said, the CPU's alive. We're just not getting anything out of it. And it is kind of weird that we're not getting a beep. Although that could have been disabled. Let's try the other DVR port. Because I've got a blue one and I've got a white one. But as far as I know, the white one is the correct one. The blue one's got the different keying on it. It fits, but it's HDMI. Does the CPU have a GPU? It should do. This being a business grade, I kind of have a memory of where these came from. They are basically meant to run, as but we'll plug that GPU back in. Just gonna put this poor victim off to one side since it's now been ignored. Well, I mean, we did the testing on that. Now we've got a more complicated thing. We kind of have to get something like this up and running. So I'll put its graphics card back in and see what happens. It's definitely not. It's definitely not first gen i7. This will probably be at least fourth, maybe fifth gen. Unfortunately, I don't have a board number to give you. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this would be fourth or fifth, although fifth didn't really exist. It was sixth gen. What actually did happen to fifth gen? It was like we went fourth gen, and then kind of like nothing happened, and then sixth gen appeared, and I don't really recall much of the fifth gen. Did Intel deliberately skip a generation? This is DVR as well. I did put the RAM back in. I didn't put it in there. I put it in there so you got... Yes. Come on. I got a green light on the main board. What more does it want? Dead main board? Kind of looks a bit gnarly. Fifth gen was mobile and server. Ah, okay. Thank you, Graham. Thank you for solving that long-standing question that was in my mind that I never was able to quite get a definitive answer on. You have successfully done that for me. You should feel proud. Oh, this has got me stumped. What the hell's going on here? Bad power supply, maybe? Maybe the PSU is not quite up to snuff. So let's torture the board. Actually, yeah. Where's the? Oh, there it is. Yeah. Let's get our other power supply. Yeah, well, this is degenerated certainly into something very different. Oh well, entertains me. I don't know about you. Well, the other thing though, crocodiles, you actually should get a beep output with a dud RAM. Yeah, you should get a 3 beeps or something like that. I mean, I will try, but I'm going to try the power supply, mostly because that power supply has been sitting quite a while, so for all I know, the cap's a cactus. We have cactus caps in the power supply. Okay. Man, this thing is getting a little unwieldy now. Starting to feel like I'm trying to rescue Apollo 13. Okay, power off. Power on. Button press. Yeah, I am sure HDMI is selected because I know it keeps going back to AVI. Oh, there we go. Son of a bitch. Still no signal though. Stephen, no, Elita is not getting this one. Man, I had hoped that was it, but it appears not. Mode. Yeah, it's definitely on HDMI for sure now. Power it off. Like I said, it's just a little weird. I'm not even getting the start beep. Let's see anything that's... I've got the keyboard now. Put the 710 back in. This is a 710. This is the 1030. 710 is right in there. I don't know. You people call yourselves techs, you don't even watch what's going on properly. Shame on you all. And looks like SpaceX is on the... Well, I'm starting to wonder if there's... I mean, like I said, we do have CPU activity going on, but we've basically got nothing else. Don't need the hard drive. Because all we need to do is just get to BIOS, and it should definitely do that. I'm just taking the CMOS battery out. Sometimes that triggers them. I know it works with Dells. Yep, definitely HDMI. Okay, you see, let's find out what CPU. No, I'm not going to take. I was going to say see what CPU it is by just rubbing it back, but I feel like I can't. I already put the damn thing back on. I'm kind of worried over at this Winbond chipset. There is some stuff that feels like a little bit of corrosion. And the other thing is it's self-starting sometimes. That's not... Okay, so yeah, we've got life with no RAM there. So that's what I was saying before, is that with no RAM it will beep. Okay, one stick of RAM in. So basically what we try to do in these scenarios is reduce it down to the absolute minimum configuration we can and work up from that. Okay, it just did a reset internally. Hey, Mr. Lemon, thank you for the €5. That's like 3 coffees for me. Okay, we just had... There we go. Here we go. Oh, geez. Password? This better be right. No, that's interesting. Just shut itself down. F2 for settings. Oh, come on. Alright. Yes, so this is the speaker is right under here, under the snake. Could have been one bad stick, or it could be a bad slot. Anyway, oh, okay, it's a second generation. i7 2600. 3.4 gigahertz. It's extremely featured for that. If I put a new BIOS battery in, it'll probably be okay now. First thing I want to do is get rid of that password. Performance, security, why? Set supervisor password. Okay, removed. Thank goodness for that. Okay, F10, yes. What the? It must have a user. Yeah, damn. Okay, I know where this machine's come from. That's why I know the password is. As soon as I saw it come up with that password, I was like, oh, that's weird. It didn't actually load. Yes. Security. Oh, clear user. Okay, I misread that. Oh. Okay, I understand now what happened. What I was doing is I thought it was just asking for what new password I want because it was assuming we're already in, so therefore we must be authenticated. But it wasn't. It wanted me to re-authenticate before it would let me clear it. XYCom, let me give you the link. SpaceX touchdown, awesome. Okay. Okay, F10. Okay, that's hopefully better now. Yep, okay, that's good. Okay, so second generation, I barely ever see those around. But it does work. So I kind of wonder, will this be any good for testing GPUs? Okay, so it wants boot media, that's fine. Get out of here. Someone broke an Ethernet port? How did they do that? It takes some... that's talent. I can imagine stuff getting stuck in it, but actually breaking it? No, that's... oh well, this is all types. I think the biggest problem I'm going to encounter here is when I try to install this card, if I keep it in this chassis, it's going to collide with the ports. I prefer an EFI based machine for testing. Okay, why what does the EFI give you, Graham? I'm going to guess it allows you to boot. Yeah, okay, look, I can't really do this in this chassis, so I basically would have to take this out, which I guess isn't a bad thing. Let's do that. Yeah, what does the EFI give you? Dynamos I can't at the moment because I actually don't have my TiVo view running properly, decoder. So once I've got my TiVo view decoder running on Flexboard View, then I'll be able to open it. Now I do know there's a TiVo view viewer, but that's on Windows for me, so... yeah, this one doesn't have UEFI. Yeah, come on. .99% of this stuff is not... certainly when I used to work at a computer shop, we would have, you know, a board of some sort like this, and we would just have it mounted on a piece of plywood or something like that, specifically for the purpose of testing other boards. You know, see whether a customer's wrecked their board. Of course, that was a long time ago. That was back when diamond cards were the fastest graphics around, when 486s were just coming into market. and would be amazed at the fact that we actually had to have heat sinks on the CPUs and occasionally a fan, and we would have to get the CPU out of a socket. Intel would ship it with this like spudger thing, and it was like a comb spudger, and you'd get two of them either side, and they lift it up. I just lost my screen. Yeah. Oh, the other one's a CAD file. Oh, okay. Sorry, Dodamras. For some reason I thought it was just... Okay, CAD. That'd be GenCAD, eh? Let's see. Export. Oh, yeah. Extract. GB1080. Okay. I'm just going to try and load that. Sorry about that. I misread what was going on. Development. CTPC. Flex. Bin. Flex. File. Open. Downloads. Untrusted sources. No, it's just kidding. Oh, actually, yeah, I think I've got this one. Schematics. Yeah, I do believe I might actually have that one. I'll have to double check. But yeah, from there at least I'll be able to get some ideas of what's going on. Nice, the GenCAD file worked out alright. I'm kind of curious why these have been made to go that direction. There should have been specific part files, and the pad's missing for that one too. Anyway, no, it's good to see. Thanks for that. Sorry, thanks Dodamras. That will be useful. Even though it's not an exact match, at least it's something I can work with. Yeah. And it's nice to see GenCAD files working on here. What? Is Lewis in the channel? Oh, hey Mr. Rossman. Good to see you too. Yeah, look. There, we've got to just get this out so we can start testing. We've already done the diagnosis on it, and we found that we have our voltage rails. So we're now in a situation where it's either RAM, BIOS, something like that. I needed a board to test it on, and then I got distracted because Graham from Adamant IT was here. So you know how I am. I'm a fanboy and I get excited when famous people turn up. And then you turn up. And well, you know, I have comments about that. By the way, Lewis, yeah, this is my 60 frames per second now. And I am using an NVIDIA card. It is working in the Intel system. Where the hell's that screw? Oh, there it is. Scummy little thing. Hey JCT, you missed it before, but I got those ferrules. And it's all set up and running properly now. I did have to solder them though, I wasn't able to crimp them. Well, put it this way, Graham, you got about 4 or 5 times the subs, so therefore, and besides, you got a plaque. You've got a silver plaque. I've got a paper one. Oh, for God's sake, why is this SSD connector not coming out? Where are you at the moment? Are you back at New York, Lewis? Oh, for God's sake. Flipping thing, I'm gonna have to just... This is going to have a permanent red SATA cable on it. Alright. Oh. There's a gecko staring at me. And I don't think it's alive. I do not believe this gecko is alive. I think it laughed so hard the other night that it died. I'm going to see if I can grab it. You alive, gecko? There's one very dead gecko. The hilarious thing about geckos is when they die, they still actually hold on. That's a dead gecko. I don't know what happened to it. That is very weird. It just must have literally dropped dead. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I gotta dispose of that because quite honestly, for anyone who deals with dead animals and things like that, you'll know that reptiles in particular, when they decompose, they release a lot of really nasty, stinky stuff. More than other creatures. It's a very astringent smell. So I'm going to need to have to... Yeah. Yeah, I don't think so. Not the lead fumes overdose. Oh, by the way, Lewis, did you see the final result of the fume extractor? Because, let's see. Okay, apart from my naked legs, but we have the final fume extractor here. It's all very simple, and it sucks real well. And the best thing is it cools my legs at the same time. So we've got to give a demonstration, of course, of just how suckfully this sucks. Find a place where I'm not going to kill my exotic mainboard. Yep, just... That's on the lowest setting. We can go turbo mode. That's all pretty good. Are geckos toxic for cats? Yes, they are. Not horrendously toxic, but they are toxic. And what will often happen is that the cats will vomit them straight back up. But I think the cats kind of get off on it as well. It's just sick little SOBs. Okay, I don't know what's going on there. It's like I've got two locking pins in there. It's not that loud really, especially not on the slow mode. What the hell's going on here? And I can make it quieter if I get a muffler and just put it underneath the desk. We've got to find out why this SATA connector is not releasing. Yeah, I think the cats get a little bit of a high off the toxicity, but yeah, it makes them throw up pretty quick. It's almost like those pins aren't quite getting depressed enough. Maybe I should tell them something like, Scott Morrison is likely to get re-elected. Yep, there you go, that depressed him enough. Let's solve that. I would clean this out, but unfortunately it's oh, you know what, I'm just going to do it. I was going to say it does make a bit of a mess. Get the great Supreme sucker in here. This is my gurney. Oh man, goddamn workshop's getting too small all of a sudden. Yeah, Chris, and they've got to be a pain to try and get out if you're in a mounted server situation, because you won't be able to lift the board out like I did to depress the clips. Okay. Personally, I find using a vacuum cleaner in vacuum mode pretty useless for cleaning boards. I find it much better to actually have it in the blow mode, and you just blow all over it, and it genuinely dislodges the dust a lot better. In the suck mode, you've got to use a paintbrush to get it up, and it's not always so good. Oh, don't worry, this is my vacuum cleaner. She has her own vacuum cleaner. She has 2 vacuum cleaners. She's got her Dyson V8 Animal battery powered one, and she has the Dyson Animal Sphere mains powered one. So she's well equipped. Pat, you're quite right about having to blow the dust somewhere, and that's why I don't do that indoors. That's why I use suck mode for tonight, because if I'm going to clean main boards or cases, I take them outside along with the vacuum cleaner, the shop vac, and let it rip. It does a spectacular job. For years I wondered how some shops were able to hand back computers looking almost new. Very little dust, nothing. And it had me completely stumped, because I would at the time be using the suction plus brush method, and it never quite looked right. It always had that very fine stuck on dust effect, and that's what it ended up being. It was just the fact that they used the blow method and I did not. And as soon as I switched over to the blow method, all was good, and I too had shiny results. Dyson V8, the petrol. Dyson fume extractor would be interesting and probably absurdly expensive, considering that mine only costs me no more than $300 all up. So I'm just observing the board. There's a few bent pins. That's all. But I'm actually quite impressed. Like I said, it's got the the 16 wide, 1 wide, 4 wide, and the fact that it's got a PCI slot. That's quite something, especially for a second generation. But yeah, this is what I mean by it must be a business board. Well, it is an Intel sort of thing. It's very well equipped. I mean, even display. The fact that it's got Thunderbolt on it, that would be 400, I think. Thunderbolt 400. But yeah, Dyson extractor. That's going to be expensive. Wow, this thing has been clamped for a very long time, and it's got a real bend in it. Alright, let's see. Great, I love it when it does this. The RAM frickin' slots get in the way. Wait, they are in the way. There we go. Okay, lock and load. Poor card is drifting off. Not much I can do about that, unfortunately. And I just realised something important. I do not have a way to power this machine on. Unless I go into the BIOS and set power on whenever there's AC present. Steve K, you might come back with a few less parts too. Okay, front panel. Flip-de-flip. Who knows what those front panel things are? Use the 4 slot if you have to. What? I won't be able to with the GPU though. That thing demands the 16. Okay. Okay, so 6 and 8 power on. What? Okay, so red, that's these two. I just got to short these two to make it jump up. Cool. I can do that. At least I can actually see it from here too. Okay. Let's plug in the power supply and stop singing. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Guess one. Oh, well, I actually got it first time. I feel impressed with myself. I know it's nothing much, but 50-50 and I got... It's really the 50-50-90 rule, that one. So, statistically, you got a 50-50 chance. Realistically, you got a 1 in 10 chance. Surprise, standard FP layout. What's FP, Graham? FP. Oh, you mean, right, you mean with the headers. Gotcha. Had me confused there for a moment. Thought you had some secret jargon then. It turns out it was just normal. Okay, that's kind of flippy floppy. Yeah, you guys need a little more. There you go. I apologize for my legs getting in the way here. Yeah, front panel. We will try and see if we can detect the card right. What else do I need? A miracle? I did see, Graham, that you were using something, tweezers or screwdriver or something to boot your main board. When I think it was the... Was that the one you're recapping? Big concern about your test power supply. And your concern is that it's too wimpy, and I would agree with you. I may have a better one. We'll see. We'll see what happens. If it goes flashbang, then I'll know that it's not good. Alright. All of my screwdrivers have special tips on them. You'll need both PCIe cab. Oh, really? Oh, man. What if I'm just testing to see if it even gets detected? Let's see what I've got. I don't know what I've got out in the workshop. Yeah, there's something that looks remotely bling-like. Yeah, it's probably had too much bling for me, so I was like, oh hell no, I'm not using that. What do we got? It's got Gigabyte on it. It's got a whole lot of fancy sheathed stuff. Definitely not the sort of thing I would use. And it's only a 500 watt though. Let's see, it's got... this one's got 2 in it. The reason why this is buckling back and forth is not because there's a screw, but because of the heatsink for that. Yeah. Why can't it just run with one and then just simply run in power efficient mode or something? Why make me do all this extra work? Sounds like a lousy designer to me. Oh, I wouldn't know. I don't even know if this thing works. In fact, probably the sensible thing for me to do right now is to put the tester on to make sure it doesn't send things to Hades. Okay. Where's my other one? I don't know. I don't know if it's still working. That's what I'm trying to test here. God, you're making me mad. Cable ties. Poor excuse for anything. Oh, come on. Right. That took a lot more than I wanted. Other way up. Okay. Power's off. Wow, that just... I think everything crapped its pants. That took out my entire board. It smells funny too. That took out my entire freaking surge board. Fantastic. Now I've got to actually disconnect it. Reconnect it. Holy quake. Yeah, well done guys. it did. It did, and it took out my. It took out my. So now I have so much knot. I've got no soldering irons. I'll take out my second one as well. Crikey. Yep, that took out everything. It took out my multimeter, it took out my power supply. Oh crap. Okay, there's going to be a bit of a shutdown here while I try to rectify the situation. And yeah, I have been pressing the button. Crikey. Well, I must have some power. No, but it's absolutely killed my board. Yeah. He's dead. Gigabyte didn't just make the board reset, it actually killed the board. So now I have no power supply, no... So yeah, completely killed the board. That ain't good. Right, well, the most appropriate place for this thing then, thermal fuses may need to cool down, quite possible, yes. We'll see. But it's usually, anyway, the place for this. Bloody hell. I mean, don't get me wrong, this is not exactly, what do you call it, fancy pants power board, but it wasn't the worst either. Keep the cables? No, I've got too many of them. I have so many of those let me just cut the cables off type thing. I'm done with that. I've got to purge, I've got to keep minimum. Okay, let's try again, just see if it lights up. No, nothing. So that's well and truly killed that one. This is more bin fodder. I'll just have to get another one. It's a it's got tri-wings in it too, so I'm not even going to try and open it up. That's also in the bin. All right. Crap. A GC2, yeah, definitely wrecked it. Wrecked it with a K. What am I going to do now? I'm just going to have to order another power supply, one that will will not kill the system. I used to have some nice Corsair ones. Yeah, they're generally lower on the sticker rating, but they do have better quality. But I don't have any of those anymore. PCIe slots are wrong generation for the 1080 GPU. Alright. Try connect the 1080 straight to the board without PC. The power board may have a it should have cooled down though by now. It's due for replacement anyway. Opportunity to do so. Get myself a nice replacement. Alright, well, I think I've basically wasted my entire evening, and yours as well. And I think the comments being made there about the fact that this may not actually be a suitable gen model means really I should just be throwing this whole damn thing in the trash, or at least in recycling. Yeah, it's just too old, I guess. Yeah, I agree, Graham. Yeah, I mean, and I'm not really after the best, because yeah, I mean, sure, there's far superior ones where they go the extra mile to get that extra 5 or 10% efficiency with all the protections and all that. But day in, day out, I'm certainly not going to be demanding that sort of thing. Yeah, after a while of watching me, you'll get to know that I'm a complete and utter trash master. So, bypass power factor correction on that piece, it'll probably work. Yeah. I mean, I honestly, if I'm going to do any more on GPU stuff, then quite frankly, you know, I can pick up a 4th gen system for under $200. So I may as well do that rather than investing in stuff that I'm going to have to fight with anyway. So I don't need a NAS. I've actually got a HP mini server. Then yeah, the ones with the 4 drive, and you modify the BIOS so you can hot swap them. They're fantastic units. I've had mine for over a decade now, and it just keeps working constantly. The PCIe 2 slot will bottleneck the card and stress test, but look up the specs at Intel. But yeah, I mean, like I say, I can get myself a 4th gen system, complete system, probably with a decent power supply, and it's not even going to cost me $200, and that's delivered to me. So it sort of is a bit of a waste for me to really invest much more into this. It's a shame. It would have been nice if it worked out of the box, but it's already sucked up a good portion of my time, and I'm pretty much done with that. Then again, now you're saying that maybe it might be okay for the PCI. Oh man, you guys are giving me emotional whiplash. Thank you very much. I'd avoid weird OEM boards for GPU. Oh yes, certainly agreed, Pianov. Yeah, things like Dell or HP, they'll have their quirks. Check the power supply OEM database. Corsair, don't make Seasonic do Delta, blah blah. This is actually an Intel board. This is a genuine Intel board. Genuine business class. And there's... Okay, I found the reason why that memory slot wasn't working. Unless it's just because of me just now. But I've just seen why it probably not worked. Anonymous repair, it's not me, that it's for someone else. So anyway, let's see, is this something I jammed on or what? That looks like a sudden great big lump of solder, but I suspect it was actually from me. And oh damn it, because we don't have a power supply power board, my camera is now non-functional. What was the HP box? Nuts and Proud, that's the HP mini server. It's an old one now. Very old, wow. See if I can find it for you. Schematics. Yeah, scope's not showing because I don't have the power board to power it. HP mini server. This one. Yeah, this is the one that I had. Oh, it's from 2012. So yeah, 10 years old. And they're great units. You know, they do the job well. The only trouble is they are a bit slower now. But I just use them for Linux. Well, I run Linux on them. And yeah, you can just do all the software RAID if you want to, or do the terrible thing that I do, which is just periodically resync from one drive to the other using rsync. Buy 4th gen board bundle and test mount. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do, Sudi. I think I'll just feel better overall if I can do it. And I can get them so cheap now. There. Anyway, so yeah, that's the server that I use. And apart from killing its power supply a year or so ago, it just keeps on going. So I've got no compelling reason to change from it. And the best thing is, because it's running a proper operating system, like it's an actual proper PC using an an x86 processor, you don't have that weird ARM sort of stuff going along with exotic Linux versions running on it. So yeah, I much prefer this over any other NAS at the moment, unless you go for a full NAS, which basically is just a specialized PC with a hell of a lot of drives. Dead GPU because you do not know how to fix it. Oh right, okay. Well, I don't know how to fix GPUs, so that's it. I'm just going to give up right away rather than bothering to even learn how to fix a GPU. Frickin' morons. How do you think you learn? You learn by trying. And so yeah, I'm trying. Dipshits, get out of here if you're going to have that attitude. And boom, you're gone. Fuckhead. Gotta love it when people do that, eh? I mean, you just... It's like as if you magically know everything. No, you don't. In fact, that's one of the worst things of attitude that you can have in the industry, or any industry, is thinking that you can't do anything if you don't know everything. But you're never going to know everything, and the only way you're going to learn anything is to try. He wasn't talking about me? Really? Who was he talking about? Pionov? I'll tell you what, you gotta be careful where you are, because it's easy to get kicked. Yeah, I'm sure you get more than your fair share of it, Graham. I mean, just because, the extra numbers and... I'm sure Lewis, well, we know Lewis gets plenty of it. Hey, Mr. DG. But seriously, no. Who was he talking about in that case? Let's see. Well... Yeah, you never do stop learning. I mean, even when you think you know everything, which you don't, of course, the next day there's going to be something new. So, anyway, well, we don't have a suitable rig, it seems, at the moment, and I'm certainly not going to use the 8400, the i5 8400 board. I'm not going to use that for this. So I'll just pick up a 4th gen and a decent power supply, and we'll go from there. Yeah, that's right, Graham. It is very hard. And I think people also, if you're going to participate in chat, you're going to have to understand that you need to make things a little clearer at times, else you can get hit with the band hammer, and if it wasn't me, it was going to be someone else pretty quickly. Let's see. Just looking around. I'll put this back into a safe place because I don't want to have any damage occurring to it. It's probably dead, but it, yeah, like I said, it did come from eBay. Just putting it back in its safe box. It actually has the proper Aorus box or whatever it is. I'm trying to think. Okay, I've got a board here that I do need to actually try and see if I can get 20 volts back on it. Yep. Oh, I've got no soldering irons. What am I going to do? I've got no soldering iron. Let me reroute the power. I'll just, yeah, put it through the auxiliary power unit and increase the APU settings. I don't know if I can take much more, Captain. What are you stuck on? You're in trouble when you get cabling in your workshop. Sooner or later it becomes a full spaghetti mess. And yeah, okay, now I also need my multimeter and come on. Okay, jiggle jiggle, wiggle wiggle. Hopefully we'll be able to get these back. Okay. Power supply's back, thank God. Come on, multimeter's back, thank God. Alright. We are back online, Captain. Okay. That's the multimeter's basis telling me that they are ready. Alright, so the problem with this is this got hit by liquid damage, and there is a disturbing amount of charring on the inductor up there, which I distinctly do not recognize as my own sort of bad work. Use the 8400 if you're setting up a test bench. OSSI I don't want to, because that's actually going to be my gaming machine. Okay, let's see if the microscope is back alive too. Thank goodness. Okay, so let's get some focus. Unfortunately, my microscope camera did not arrive today as I was expecting. They keep sending me messages saying, your package is in Australia, it'll be with you shortly. And it's like, you're lying. Yeah, this is distinctly... I'm trying to bring back the memories. This is very bad work here. Alright, yeah, okay, this has been worked on by someone else. And I remember coming in and I had to rebuild this section. It was missing most of the parts because they were trying to track down a short. Yeah, Grant, well, yeah, it insta-killed, but hey, it made it entertaining, that's for sure. Okay, that current sense resistor is a bit dodgy. I'm just trying to think where I am on this board. I do recall I managed to get 20 volts running on it momentarily. I believe the real issue ended up being a short down here somewhere. Not sure which side it's on. It's probably... Okay, so we've got a missing chip. And I believe that is a TP 51280 or whatever they are. Okay, whoop. Okay, so I'm going to get the data code up. Okay, 1103. By the way, Graham, the other night when I was talking about the stickers and stuff like that, or you were asking about it, see, this is, I print these out on the Dymo label, and I have a very simple PHP page that I did up, and it's just got like a SQLite database, and it keeps track of all these. So I generate these labels, usually 4 or 5 per job, and then I have a handheld scanner, and when I scan the code, it brings up the data that you can see here, that data down the bottom left. And then, yeah, it just makes it easy. So when I work on a job, because I record all the time, even when I'm not streaming, so the first thing I do is I pick the job, it then marks the video with, you know, what the job is. Okay, 2141. I've forgotten what the number of this is. 1700? Yeah, 1700. Okay, so this O1700 is a notoriously bad board for MacBooks. If you do get an O1700, it's basically 99% of the time it's going to be dead. It really depends on what you want to do. I know you're adverse to stickers, and I understand that, because you're right. Even these Dymo temporary stickers, they can get quite difficult to get off at times. Let's see. Okay, so 1103. Oh my god, this has actually been here in the workshop a little bit too long now. 1104, 1103. Okay, I'm just going to put in the board code 820 O1700. Update. Now that I've updated that, I should be able to rescan, and it brings it up on screen as well. Yeah, Graham, I can understand that it is something that sits on the back of your mind, because you know that, as you said, you know, you might be sick one day, or you know, you're stuck in the bathroom one day and someone needs to get something out. Okay, I'm fairly sure this is the TPS chip, so we're going to bring up the board view for this terrible board. At least the nice thing with this i5 12500 unit is that I can run Flexboard View and the capturing without too many issues. So O1700. Okay, schematics. And we are looking non-CPU side. Okay, it's this chip here. And yeah, TPS 62180 indeed. So fortunately I actually now have stock of them. Oh, yeah, got quad display. Well, we'll leave it there for the moment. You can see how messed up everything is at the moment, because I'm trying to concurrently reorganize and yeah, do work at the same time. I did get some new organization containers. I bought a bunch of these things, but yeah, I'm gonna have to work out how I'm gonna mount them and then label them, all that sort of stuff. Okay, so we've got the TPS units. That's good. Let's go back to the microscope. What the hell? One's missing? Oh yeah, that's right. I used one the other day. Used one and it was a dud board anyway. That's what I hate with a lot of these repairs. is that you use up things like your ISL 9240s, ISL 9239s, these TPS chips, and you're not repairing the board. It's as in you don't get a outcome that's suitable or a win. So you basically end up consuming these parts, because realistically, yeah, most of the time, if it doesn't work, you sort of just move on and you try. You don't very often take the part back off, even though sometimes you probably should. Because we're going to have to just flatten out those balls first, because we can't mount that chip with those there. Just add a bit of fresh flux. Get the extractor on. Let's solve some wick and some grippy grips. Still can't believe that power supply just did a whack job on my power board. Oh well. Okay. Yep, tombstoned apart. No biggie. The biggest problem here is that we've got an underfilled NAND here, so we don't want to get too much heat on that, for obvious reasons. And my part. I do love looking at the intricate details in these things. Whoops. Okay, Christian, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Yeah, what do we got? Audio routing issues? Ah, no. We're all good. So we're going to do our best to... I know there's one pad there a little bit puffed up, but it'll be okay. Let's see, pin 1 to the bottom. Basically 180 degrees of what I just did. I've got vibration coming in on here and I shouldn't have. It's like I've got something jammed under there. Okay, that's better. What does this chip do again? This basically is just a voltage regulator, and they're used for the NAND, and they're also used as a 3 volt, just a generic 3 volt 3. They're a buck converter. Yeah, I'm going to be careful I don't blow this thing off into Kingdom Come. Speaking of, I should really drop the air. 60% is good. And yeah, I've got to make sure I don't cook that NAND, but I shouldn't if I keep the nozzle pointed away. Okay, that's already flowed in. Yep, tippy tap. Yeah, that's right, Miles. It's in surprisingly... Yeah, it's used quite a lot for the 3v3. Now the downside is that is not the classic failure point for the NANDs. Usually it happens on the other side, like the right side rather than the left side. But what tends to happen is even after you've replaced that and you get the voltage rails back, the NAND is cooked. And which is why this board is such a killer. You can get it back where it's technically functioning again, but you have to then replace all the NAND chips, which we basically just don't do because you can't get the data back. So your only other option after that is, shall we rebuild it? Okay, what is this here for? And okay, I don't even know what that was. I'll put that back on later. Oh, so the more classic failure point on these machines is this one here. If you ever do get these machines, or I am anyway, where these have not yet failed, I like to cover them with protective goop, because it's only a matter of time before it does come in. Like, it's already shown up there, and it doesn't have to be an actual full flood of water or anything like that. That cap has been brutally knocked off. This is how I know that someone else has been here. I'm not sure what that cap's for. There's a pad missing there. Okay, it's a general decoupler, 2.2 microfarad. It's not that critical because we do have 33 microfarads here, and we've got another 2.2. So we'll put it back if the board works, but it's not critical. But we do need to remove it because there is the chance that it could actually, with that sort of physical damage, they can become shorted. It doesn't look like it should be, but you never know. Still get rid of it. It's in an interesting spot though. The way that it's got these test pads, almost like it's sense. It's done like it's a 2-wire, 4-wire sense line. You can't see. Damn it. This is the one weakness I have of my setup. Anyway, we've removed it. Someone too rough? I don't know. It doesn't look like it was probed. It was more just physically knocked. Someone just rough handling the main board. Hey there. Okay, my love.
I'm not quite sure where Milo is.
Oh,
I mean, he's in the little section somewhere.
right, okay.
Unless he's-
He'll probably be behind the geisha girls. Like, you know, up behind... You okay? What? Oh, great. Yeah. I'm just checking over to see if there's anything else before I fire this up. But at least I know now why I hadn't done anything further on this board, because I was waiting on those TPS chips. But like I said, I do have a very strong suspicion that this is still going to be a no-go. As I said, you just got so many of them, and they're all underfilled. It's just not worth it. I think the 1700 is going to be one of the few MacBook series that you will be able to find chassis fairly cheap, because no one will have main boards for them. This here is a cluster job, a real cluster job, but it is technically functional. And yeah, this here, like I said, they were chasing a short, so they tried removing all of this stuff here, and probably to try and inject voltage or something. But yeah, the short was way down at that TPS where we were looking before. That crystal oscillator looks like it's seen better days. Again, it's got some sort of junk built up on it, like something has knocked it. It's even sitting at a funny angle. We'll leave it there for now. Oh, great. And look at, so this is the crap It drives me up the wall. It's like, how do you manage to break that connector? How? How did you do that? What did you do? Get your tweezers and go twink like that? Train wreck. Emotional damage. Okay, don't have to worry about the heatsink at this point. As a general rule though, most boards that have been prior worked on usually are going to be dead ends. But things like 1502s, 1466s and whatnot, you know, we've got so many spare parts for them that you can sort of get away with it now. But for these type boards, if you've got prior work on them, it's generally a bad thing. Okay. Let's see how we go. Ah, it's already crapped its pants. 5 volt, 0. We've got a hard short, another hard short somewhere. What's going on? Zero. Try the other side. So we're going to have to meter out the rails. Because yeah, the fact that it just does that is a bad start. Okay, so it's saying 0 for the power. So I say we bring out the infrared camera because those USB meters don't necessarily catch any sort of spikes. And K is already on. The fan cover looks really good. Which fan cover are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about this thing? Okay. Okay. What doesn't help is we have been heating up things on the board here, so it's, if there is a pulse there, it's going to have a bit of trouble finding it. It's okay. There we go. I think I just saw it. I think it's up here somewhere. Up there. Because it's very rare for the infrared camera to chase something like that and come up so brightly. I'm just gonna... Yep, there it goes. Did you see it? That's a pulsar. Wait for it to do it one more time. Just gotta sit back and wait and you'll see it go here. Come on. Do it. There it goes. Bam! That's our pulsar. So we have found our pulsar short, even though it was telling us that there's no current being drawn there. I could be wrong though. It might actually be a proper behavior. I'm trying to think now. Where was it? It was just here, wasn't it? Yeah. Better quit out. Sorry, just... Just move that off to the side. Now, of course, we do have to double check, because it could be a false one, but we'll have a look. Doink. Yep, there goes the camera. Okay, so it was around here, which is not good. It seems a little weird for that. It isn't, but funnily enough, it is another one of those chips that we just replaced, which isn't really that funny. But we're going to put some alcohol on it and see what happens. But it really was getting up hot, that I could see. Oh yeah, there she goes. But I think it's actually the cap, potentially. I don't think it's the chip, I think it's the cap. See how the cap is flaring? I mean, I could be wrong. Yeah, the chip itself is getting pretty damn hot quick too. Okay, nah, alright, it's the chip. Or actually, it's not the chip. It'll be whatever it's powering. Which is probably another... That could be 3v3 actually. I'm guessing that's going to be 3v3. Let's see, CPU side, this is it up here. U6960, that's 6900, yep, 3v3. Okay, so we've got a short on 3v3 now. Ah, man. This could be... Yeah, this could be a rabbit hole, but we're going to chase it a little bit. And what was that cap? C6998. Okay, that's interesting. That cap actually does have a different purpose, but again, I'm suspecting we have a short. We'll test the resistance on these inductors, which is that one there and that one there. So, resistance, microscope. I can't zoom in on the FLIR. It doesn't have that ability. Okay, that's pretty reasonable, to be fair. And that's definitely reasonable. Okay, let's check that cap that was flaring. It's fine. Great, so this is fun. So we have what's perhaps more an active short than a... this is going to be hilariously fun. Go into continuity mode so it beeps at me. Yeah, this is problematic when you have something burning up heat, and it's usually because something's drawing too much current. Okay, that's meant to beep like that. That's not... Yeah, that's not... Oh, hello. Oh no, that's a fake short. What that is that there's big caps also on that rail, and they momentarily take energy from the continuity test, which momentarily makes it think it's got a short, but it's just filling up the caps. See, that one was the same. It's probably they're the same rail, but I actually reverse polarized it. So if I go back to this one, I'll probably do the same thing now. Yep. Yep. Okay, so that's fine. You gotta watch out for that. Alright. So I guess the question is, we could replace this chip, and yeah, maybe that will fix it. Yeah, the inrush basically. Yeah. So we could replace that chip because there doesn't really seem to be a short on the actual rails. I'll try in a couple of other places. And it looks like it's a two-phase unit. Okay, yeah. I think that's why they're using it a bit more, because instead of it just being the traditional single-phase buck converter, they're going for two-phase now. I mean, it's, don't get me wrong, that is low. Yeah, 4,500 at so it's going to be drawing an amp, but it should. Yeah, I think we'll remove the chip. Have a look. Some of these will actually exhibit burns on the underside, I've found. It could also be that the short is located further down the train. So this 3v3 gets used in other places, but they don't get switched in until the board is... In fact, I might just actually check that first. I'm sorry, I know. Schematics. Yeah, so like this sort of business here, where you're using that 3v3 and it goes off to, say, the GPU, but it won't actually present itself as being shorted until this is activated. And so when you have the board deactivated, this load is not present. So yeah, actually injecting the voltage will not help. So we're going to test that one and see what it is. And effectively we have to do this for, I mean, oh crap. It could be this chip for all we know too. That's shorted. .3v3SO GPU. Oh right, and that's the GPU, yeah. So yeah, we could have a shorted GPU for all we know. Trying to find a cap that I can... I've really got to change this feature back. I had someone ask me to put the labels for the parts when highlighted in the middle like everything else, but I found it actually does not work out very well, because when you zoom out more you can't even see the part that you're trying to get onto. No, we don't need to pull coils or anything off at this point. Okay, so we're on CPU side. I would prefer... Okay, here we go. We're going to use this one up here. We'll go quad display so you can track what I'm doing. Like you can see, this part does not exist. That's SWK001. But the one we're interested in, this little point here, is what we want to try test. Hey, 555, welcome. Okay. 700, so that's okay. Oh, great. C3215s have that. So what's to say they're not damaged? Let's just turns into one clustered job after another. Okay, next. So full screen on this. Basically, we're looking for things like that previous one where it goes into a circuit and then fed out of it as a different rail. Okay, like this here. Okay, that's just supplying power to it. This is supplying power and going out. Okay, so what page am I on here? Page 79. Okay, non-CPU side. Big cap, big cap. Yuck. Terrible tweezers. There should be a test point. Okay, there's a test point right there I can check. Not dropping the coils off. $618, that's okay. So we continue our search. It's funny, they didn't loop it around here, instead they just called it something else, but that's the... Ach niemand, Bayerkak. Okay, where are we down here? More dregs. Okay, top of that cap. Which cap? There we go. That's what we're looking for. That's what we're looking for. That's why it wouldn't show up when we test it statically, because it's actually this rail here that is faulty. Yeah, 3v3 G3SX. Alright, so what do you actually power? What do you go to? Anonymous recognizes the language. Sorry, I apologize. Alright. Just trying to think what runs on this rail. So U8400. There's some... It could be one of many things on this. It's 8502. We do have a test point there, is that it? Yeah, G. So we've got a test point there, we can use that. Let's even look at where that is. What's over here? Okay, that's... What? What is U8472 then? Oh, you're the op amp. No, you're not. You're a Schmidt trigger. Okay. Yes, I'd say between Dutch, German, and a few other languages, it's all pretty common. So now what we can do is we can actually apply some current and the 3 volts and see what lights up. That'd be the fastest way. But I might also just check the caps manually. So I'm just going to mark them as I've inspected them visually. Yeah, that's a laugh. That there's L1701, they've got listed as an inductor, they've just got a 0 ohm resistor there. Totally acceptable. I obviously decided they didn't need that filtering. Anyway, it needs to say visually. Damn it, wrong one. Doesn't matter, we'll get the idea. That one's been checked. It could also be the wireless LAN. If we remove R5530, we could isolate that. It's about there. Except R5530 does not even exist, so that's... I've already removed it. We're good. Instead, that's just a direct bridge across, so they don't do any current testing on this one. So we could have a bad Wi-Fi chip. Looks a little dark there, but I don't think they're related. Hey Pachamba, yes, my head is good now. It's just the hair has to grow back a little more, and we should be good. Okay, so we're back to this. I'm trying to think. I don't really have a lot of good spots to inject this 3v3. I always wonder what words you've been taught to... yeah, well... There's a great many words, of course, that you can well imagine are not appropriate for me to utter. Not that I need to. 8215. I might just remove 8215, which is... pretty sure it's this chip here. And just double check. Pin 5. I'm starting to get the feel that this might be a Wi-Fi module fault. 7.7 ohms. It's not exactly what you'd call a major short, but that rail should not be 7.7 ohms. That's the point. And if it is a dead Wi-Fi module, then well, so sad. So what we're doing by removing this, we're basically disconnecting the ability for it to switch on that section. It will at least let us know, is that actually, gonna fix it, or are we just wasting our time? Pin 1, bottom right, barely an indent there. Extractor not on. I need to find a way to tie the extractor with the heat gun. I suppose I could do it using current sense. Wow, this thing is particularly, I'm at 470 and 90% air, and this thing is not moving. That was exceptionally difficult to get off. Exceptionally difficult. Let's see where that short's sitting. Like I say, it's not a serious short, but it is enough to... Yeah, it's not serious, but it is enough to cause grief. Particularly on a rail that isn't designed to handle that sort of current. Stick a Hall effect sensor on the hot air cradle. That's another way. I mean, it obviously has a sense already. Like I said, I could try doing it using current sense off the mains. And so when it... Obviously when you pick up, there's going to be a lot more current coming in. Oh, one thing I found which is really neat with this extractor is that I can now just rest my boards on it like that and it cools them. Use opto to send signal to the extractor fan. I mean, obviously the hot air station itself, you see, the thing that I like about the current sense method, if you have it like through a socket, is that it'll work regardless of what device you have. So if you, whether I put the Atom in or the Quick or whatever, it will still do the job. And Graham, I have a compass sensor on my microscope, so when I swing the microscope in, it automatically switches for me. No, that just flipped back out. Still 0. That's crazy. What the hell's going on with this board? I said 1700s, they're... Basically, if you do get them in, unless it's something blatantly obvious, they're going to be nightmares. Okay, so that's not actually... Yeah. Let's see if it flares up on the 3v3 again. We'll bring out the infrared once more. And yeah, we'll keep an eye on that 3v3 and see if it flares up. In which case, maybe we were wrong. Maybe that Wi-Fi is in fact meant to be that value. The problem is I don't have enough open board data for this one at the moment. So board, preferences, download. Okay, we've got 49 nets. It's not really enough at the moment. Let's see, highlight them. This is PV bus G3 hot, backlight. Half the problem is that with so few 1700s being viable, it's hard to get good data at the moment. Okay, so it looks like most of the rails are there. So what have we got? Looks like mostly display data, EDP, comms for that, basic rails. But yeah, you sort of need a good 1700 to be able to get good data. Oh well. Copaz, why are you doing that? Anyway, let us invoke the infrared. My password is 4 ones, by the way, in case you're wondering. It's just 1111. Okay, so it's not very sophisticated. If I drop dead on this computer, you can get in because it's just 11111. So now we just sit and wait and see if it flares up again. Things like this are not a worry, that's just reflection stuff. If you get a real solid hit, then it's still going. It's still tried to start. I'm just going to put my finger here as a reference and see if it fires up again. So, you know, there'll be like 37, 38, whatever it is that human bodies run at. Yeah, it's pulsing away, but it's not incredibly hot. So our WAN thing is not probably the fault. If you're wondering why that started getting stronger, it's because the coloration that I use on here is all relative. So it just sort of readjusts according to the averages, whatever's around. So it takes all the values and then shows you the like top 10% or something. I mean, I can shift that around. But yeah, that's heating up all over again. And it's not something I can actually remove. I should test the voltage on those. No, I can't really remove that chip. Yes, shut up, Gecko. Oh, continuity mode. Idiot. This is what happens when I start doing stuff late at night. I think I need to redo that. Remote. Why am I in frequency mode? That was very strange. For some reason my meter decided that it wanted to count frequency. That's better anyway. Okay, so it jumps up and I just saw it push over 4 volts. That's not good. 0.5 volts. Okay, it's definitely being dragged down I'm only holding half a volt here at the moment on one phase and half a volt on the other phase. That is very peculiar. So the current's got to be going somewhere. Question is where? And maybe it will present itself as a hotspot. Try and rotate the board without doing that. Come on. Okay, we'll just fix up the alignment there. If you stare at the dithering long enough, sometimes you can pick up a subtle pulsar. Like I almost feel like there's something going on. Where's my... Something, that's the ISL, okay. Yeah, I am not pulling this, oh, hell no. Yeah, so I can see the ISL warming up slightly. Okay, so it doesn't really look like anything's happening there. Try down here. Actually, I might just move this up because we did the hot air reflow there and that's latent heat in there. What is the time anyway? Oh crikey, it's 2:30 in the morning. I really should be asleep. Once again, it's Graham's fault. We'll give it a minute, see if anything jumps around, because remember that 3v3 didn't show up until we waited a minute. JCT, you should know by now, I'm more than willing to sit around and get hopeful. The rail is jumping around. The rail will go 0 up to half a volt. There is an initial max I saw around about 4, which is a bit of a concerning overshoot, but I don't know whether that was just because of me holding the probes. But once it's at 0.57, it stays there. So whatever the load is, it's you did not tell me to go regroup after the GPU bust. Or maybe you did, but I didn't see it. And if I did, I would have ignored you. Okay, let's try this again. Again, that's just emissivity issues. No point trying to solve that. Hope deferred kills the heart. Yeah, well, pulling out the scope confuses the brain too much. Yeah. Alright, I think it is getting late at this hour. We do have something. We do have that the 3v3 is lighting up and getting hot when it should not be. But we know it's something further down the line. And we also know it's not the Wi-Fi. So there's got to be something else that it's talking to. So I need to go through on the board view and the schematic and find out all the other places that it's going to. Because I know if I put 3 volts in here, Okay, I don't know. See, it's firing up again there. Inject 1 volt in the rail. It could well do. I have used that scope, and I do occasionally use it, but usually I do it for diagnosing comms issues on I2C lines and things like that. Most of the time you just use it to see if something's oscillating, as in clocking or whatever. 99% of the time, scopes in these sort of scenarios tend to just lead you down interesting paths that probably you didn't need to go down. Which reminds me. Get over here. Anyone in Australia want this? It's a Velleman 10 megahertz portable scope. It has limited functionality, but it does work. It will take up to 100 volts input. I used to use this all the time when I was doing model aircraft work with all the circuitry for servos and things like that. I don't know how good it works. The probe is still in very good condition. It's a little bit green, but if you want it, email me and I'll decide who I give it to. JCD, I think what's happening is that the machine will, yeah, see, I just see it flashed up there. The machine will cycle. It will like try to power up, and if it fails, it'll then back off. But it's not actually, I don't feel like it's something on the rail itself oscillating. Rather what it is, it's the system coming back around to try again to see if it can bring everything up, and it fails, so then it retreats and then it comes back again later. It's just the system is going through the cycling process, but the rail is basically whatever it is loading it and killing it. That's my opinion at this point. 555, are you in Australia, are you? Where in Australia are you, 555? I thought you were in the UK for some reason. Send it to Brazil to GD Tech. Nothing ever arrives at Brazil, I'm sorry to say. I have lost so much money sending things to Brazil. No offense to people who live in Brazil. It's not your fault. It's the postal system or whatever. But I have lost thousands of dollars worth of stock that goes to Brazil. Or worse, I mean, okay, bad for them because they don't ever get it. But the trouble is I would refund them because they never got it, and I would have to then invoke the postal insurance, which always sucks. But if that wasn't bad enough, what would then sometimes happen is the person, I would send another one to them, just in a different route, and then I'd end up with both and a discount because they got refunded. It was just like, right, I don't think I'll be doing that anymore. That's my theory, JCT, anyway. At this point, that's my theory. I could well be wrong, and we may find that out tomorrow. I'm just going to put this part back on because I can't blame this part anymore. If I had taken that off and the issue went away, then we'd go, alright, that's it. But, yeah, not this time. Yeah, that's right, Graham. You really want to, because you want to help people, but at the end of the day, you just lose so much money and you lose credibility that you give up because it's really not worth it. And like I said, I apologize to those people because you are basically being ostracized due to the postal system, its failures, rather than through your own. Oh, that was a terrible placement. Oh well, we're gonna have to wait for it to reflow now. That is a very chunky rail, that one. This over here is the part that I can't get to reflow properly. It's starting to get there now. There it goes. By the way, Graham, do we have to send you a quick or an Atom hot air station? Because I see you've got a blower and handle one. And I feel like we should send you a quick or an Atom so that you can do good hot air reflow. I think it was you. Or was it... I know my mate Vince has a in-handle blower. I'm fairly sure yours. Did I see you use it the other night? I can't remember now. Crap. I'm getting my people overlap. Maybe it was actually my mate Vince. It'd be funny if it was that cap. Alright, well I think we're going to have to leave that as is. And I'm going to have to now go back to my computer and wind down for an hour. Yeah. Oh, you do have a 857 DW. What's an 850? Did you now you made me brain fart. See how when you swing the microscope away, it just magically switches for me? That's just glorious. I love it. I thought it was a quick 861. Or did you get a 1300 watt one? Ach, nee man. What? Oh, Lewis Rossman's yelling at me. How normal. Quick 857. I'm just checking to see what that one is. Oh, you've got that the very, I'm not going to say simple one, but it was actually one I was strongly considering suggesting to many people. Yeah, is this the one you have? I'm guessing it is. That's very much like the one that I used to have in terms of power and things like that. But yeah, for general purpose stuff, that is really definitely a much better buy than those other ones that have the blower and the handle. Because yeah, it has the proper pump in it, it has good control, has good power. Even though it's only 580 watts, whereas say we're using 1000 watt type units, it's definitely the superior buy. Yeah, if I see anyone with the blower and handle units, this is the, and if they want to keep their budget under control, then this is the one that I recommend to people. I don't know why I just didn't remember it, but yeah, that's good. It's a good choice. Yeah. Vince's is blower one. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. But yeah, if people are using a handle blower one, then if you get a chance, tell them to buy one of these ones instead. It does make a significant difference in the quality of the work that you can do. Okay. All right then. Well, time for me to head off to sleep. I'm sure these eyes are probably looking really dark and terrible. Oh my gosh, my whole room's a mess still. Oh well. That's the way it goes. Too much time fixing things, not enough time cleaning up the workshop. But I do try during the day to clean up the workshop, but it doesn't always happen. I'm out of here. You'll take care. Thanks for all for watching, and I will see you next time. Could be tomorrow. You don't know. If I get the microscope camera tomorrow, we'll definitely be doing that, because it'll be nice to see if anyone can see the change going from 30 frames per second double pumped to genuine 60 frames per second, although in my case it'll be 50. So, alright, I'm out of here. You'll take care. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you next time.